For 30 days, the temple town of Kashi is celebrating Tamil legacy. This as it plays host to a unique event. The Kashi-Tamil Sangamam Center has said that the aim of this confluence is to bring the two ancient cultural centers together and celebrate their commonality and create an opportunity for scholars, students, traders to come together and share their knowledge. However, the initiative to bring together two cultures was caught, as always, in political crossfire. DMK ally CPIM saw a saffron agenda behind the program. Critics also see it as aimed at furthering the BJP's prospects in Tamil Nadu. Is that the real intent? And is there any commonality, connect and cultural resonance between Kashi and Kanyakumari? And joining us now is Sadhguru on the importance of Tamil Sangamam and much more. Thank you very much, Sadhguru, for speaking to us as always. I wanted to start by asking you, this project by the Prime Minister is a very ambitious one in its scope and scale. But why do you think this is significant and why is it needed?
Well, I don't think it's ambitious. It's a small revival of what's been there for millennia. Because if you look at the history, everywhere, the connection between Rameshwaram, Kashi, Kedar and Kailash, this is on for many thousands of years. Even today, just now the winter is setting in post-Diwali, thousands of sadhus, sannyasis, yogis and sages who live in Himalayan region are beginning to walk down south. Certain people who are the yogis and stuff, they walk on the east coast because on the Andhra Pradesh coast, there is a Saptarishi, footprint there, so they walk that way. Gorakhnathis and others walk on the west coast because they have infrastructure on that side where their food and accommodations are taken care of. Many others walk through central India because they have infrastructure in Maharashtra, Karnataka, like this. So this is a movement that has been on for millennia. These things got disturbed only during the times of invasions, but still they continued this. This was simply going on. This has been more disrupted during this, from 1947 onwards. I remember this very well. There was a small movement at that time which died down. See, in this country, even during the British era, many older sages and saints who could not walk all the way, they started taking the trains. Trains were always free for those who wear saffron clothes because they were sadhus and sannyasis, they committed to something else, they have no possessions of their own, so nobody would ask for a ticket. I'm telling you, even when I was traveling alone across this country, if I have a meal on a roadside dhaba somewhere when I'm traveling on the highway, they refuse to take money from me. I have to force them to give it to them because this is the culture of the nation. And this journey has been on. Always they think if you're moving south, they think you're going to Rameshwaram. If you're moving north, they think you're going to Kashi or Himalayas. So this has been on for so long. I don't even see why this generation of people are surprised that this kind of thing, Sangamam, has been done. It is wonderful that we are reviving this. It's not a revival, I would say, more kind of an official stamp on it. I think it's very important because this was always so. Even when country was politically, had many borders, at one time over, up to 600 nations we were, certain times, that many kingdoms were there. Even then, this journey of going to Kashi and Rameshwaram was never interrupted by any king, even if they were in battle with other kingdom. Never ever they interrupted this because that was considered sacred and it was there. So now bringing a kind of an official thing and to that, I think it's a natural process that should have happened right from the beginning. It's beginning to happen now. Probably we were too busy building the economic and other infrastructure of this nation. As we get a little better, we are thinking of subtler aspects.
But how is this possible? You are saying that there is a connection and a historical, cultural connection between Kashi and Kanyakumari, but we were always told that north and south, these are two very different areas with very different people, very different cultures, and they have nothing in common. At least that's what the political discourse is, that North Indian politics has no space in South India and vice versa.
Yeah, I don't want to get into the talks that happen in the political space, Because in the political space, you can cure a back injury by massaging your hair. And you so massaging your hair is physiotherapy. Rapist can become a therapist. There are many things. I don't want to get into that. That is political space, and especially when it's close to elections, all kinds of things are said by different people. I'm warning you, Padmaja, your name is Padmaja, that means you came out of a lotus. You're in trouble. Here, there is this wonderful flower next to me, somebody kept it here. This is called as Krishna Kamalam. This is not a lotus, it grows on a creeper, but it is called as Krishna Kamalam. This flower is in trouble because it has Kamal in it, all right? So I'm saying we are going to extreme limits. We are forgetting that the past heroes, whether they were kings or sages or saints, or our freedom fighters or whoever, we just honor them. We don't try to dissect and evaluate them, because we will end up judging them from today's morality, today's standards of living, today's understanding of life. People who lived here 1,000 years ago, you don't try to judge them and say they are this or that. They were whoever they were. We just honor them because they are our ancestors, that's all. Were they all right? Were they all wrong? Somebody says they were perfect, somebody says they were horrible. Let's not go with this, because 1,000 years ago, what was the morality? What was the society? What was the realities of that day? Is very, very different. About south and north, this thing, there are so many temples in Tamil Nadu, which are all about Kashi Vishwanathar, they call it, okay? Little pronunciation is different. There is a Shiva Kashi, you definitely have heard of Shiva Kashi because of the crackers at least. And there is Ten Kashi, which literally means southern Kashi, which was built by a Pandya king. He wanted to get the linga from Kashi to establish that, and he got it from there and established Ten Kashi. And so many thousands of families, Tamil families, are still living in Kashi because they all went there, we don't know when. Okay, nobody knows when they went there. They all went there because when Tamil tourists go there, how can Tamilians live today you go, you fly in and stay there, and one day you come back, maybe just eating lal peda and back. But those days if you went, you were staying for a few months. How can Tamil people stay in North India without idli, sambar, pongal? How can we live? So, naturally, Tamil people went and established things, we don't know when. Even today, over 2,500 or so families are still living in Kashi, just serving the Tamil people who come there. Lakhs of Tamilians every year travel to Kashi. This is, nobody is going to announce, I'm going to Kashi. It is a sacred journey that they will make it quietly and they come back. Now everything is trying to be appropriated into political space because politics is getting so heated up all over the place. So I don't think we need to give any real factual meaning to these things. These are said.
Speaking of how politics seems to be, rewriting history, Raja Chola recently was the topic of much heated debate, and there was a suggestion that he wasn't a Hindu king. Would you agree?
I've missed this whole controversy because I was not in the country, but anyway, that you're asking the question. Well, I can also say he was not an Indian, because he did not have an Indian passport, he did not have an Aadhaar card. We can go like this, where are we going? He was referred to, and he enjoyed being referred to, as Shivapada Shekaran. That was his title. And he built Brihadeshwaran temple, which is the big temple, today is one of the main tourist attractions in Tamil Nadu, which draws millions of people every year. And he built many other temples. And he built temples in Cambodia and all other places outside of India. Well, I don't know what you want to call him, but definitely by checking his documents, we can prove that he's not an Indian. But what's the point of this? Because the point is, the argument made is that just like Tiruvalluvar was being saffronized for political reasons, now Raja Chola is being appropriated as a Hindu king in order to further the right-wing or saffron agenda. See, when it comes to Tiruvalluvar, I don't know how he is saffronized, but Saffron has always been the color of the Indian spiritual process because it is been understood as the color of renunciation, to be beyond the daily entanglements of life, but we are pulling them into political entanglement of today, unfortunately. So, if you say saffron, we didn't mean a particular party. When we say saffron, we meant those who are disentangled from daily stuff that is going on in the society. So they stayed above that. They interacted with the society as it was needed, but they stayed above that. So, great sages of Tamil Nadu, they're all Shiva Bhaktas, there are many of them, Sundara, Appar, like this, they sang in temples and they created this whole Devaram. Rajaraja Cholan was the one who kind of made this Devarams. Even today it is sung in Tamil Nadu temples everywhere, and this became like a standard form of worship. And this is a very devotional culture. Unfortunately, a handful of people who are whether north or south, political people, they're just owning the gods and everything these days. I think we should leave it alone. As I said earlier, the heroes of the past, let us just honor them. Let us not appropriate, okay, Ashoka belongs to you, Rajaraja Cholan belongs to me, what is this? Both Ashoka's father Bimbisara tried to conquer the south, but it's the Cholas who pushed them back. So it is recorded, that is in BC, that is in BCE, between 290 to 270 BCE, when he made a southern push, he was pushed back by the Cholas, it's recorded history. So, this country has been a flux where the borders of the individual kingdoms were constantly fluid and changing. Many times the Chola Empire expanded all the way up to Orissa, and again it shrank into becoming a small kingdom, again it expanded depending upon the particular king and his capability. Capability essentially means, we must understand, his ability to wage war, his ability to win wars decided where the boundaries are. So they were neither north nor south. South was always trying to go north, north was always trying to come south because they wanted to occupy the whole of what was known as Bharatvarsha or Jambudvipa at that time.
But you spoke of honoring them and not politicizing figures like Rajaraja Chola. Do you think that has happened? Because many people think that our history or the way it was written was so focused on perhaps North India or the Mughals that the Cholas weren't given their due. Is that a fair criticism?
I think so. That is not only about the Cholas, that is in all levels. The South did not get the attention that it should get from 1947 onwards, probably only from 1985. There is little more focus on the South, otherwise in terms of infrastructure, in terms of railways, in terms of airports, we did not get the same attention for whatever reasons. I would say it is not necessarily prejudice, it's more because of economic reasons. Naturally, things around Delhi developed more than the rest of the country. Now, for example, northeastern part of the country has been without infrastructure. Only now we are pushing it after 75 years. Now we are pushing to build infrastructure. Does it mean to say that we don't want them or we don't include that part as Bharat or our nation? We do. It is just that economic reasons and maybe there are some political reasons, but essentially I would ascribe these things to economic reasons why only segments developed where the focus was all around that. Just look back and see, like since 71, 72, I started reading newspapers as an avid newspaper reader. There would be nothing in the newspaper about the local stuff. It was all about what happened around Delhi. Only now it is being reported, there is infrastructure everywhere. I don't think any news agency had any serious infrastructure in the south till 80s. So, naturally it was less exposed, and I don't think we resented that. We were glad that we were not meddled with too much.
But, in terms of telling the news, it's tyranny of distance. But in writing of history, was there a negligence or deliberate sidelining?
I think so, because from what textbooks I have read, if I go by the textbooks, you would be completely believing something which is not true. And we have eulogized all the invaders, including the British, and made them as if, they only brought civilization to us. I think the best thing that was said probably, we must give it to Mahatma Gandhi. When Mahatma Gandhi was asked, what do you think about Western civilization? He said, it's a good idea. So, I think we have been captured by this because all of us studied in English language, we read English stuff, we read English literature, and our own textbooks writing history. Tell me, what is it that's written? There's so much about Ashoka. Where is Chola? Chola is just Chola kingdom was there from this time to this time. Where is Gautam Buddha? Just a footnote in the book. I'm saying this country has been largely influenced more by sages and saints than by kings and politicians of the day. But how have we written our history? Have we given them the right place as to what was their influence on the society on that day? That is completely missed out because we shifted from subjective way of writing history to objective ways of doing things, just dates and battles. You just read history book, you just take, after my 6th, 7th standard, I stopped reading the textbooks and I read other books. That's a different thing. But before that, up to 6th standard, you read the textbooks and see, all it says is battle, this battle, that battle, that battle, this date, that date, all right? That's about it, a whole history. Nothing else happened in this country. Only battles happened. Only a few hundred people were fighting battles. What were the rest of the people doing? There's so much happening in this country. In many ways, we were the largest trading nation. You can't trade nothing. Obviously, you were the largest manufacturing nation, that's why you were trading nation also. Literally across the known world of those days, Indian trade, Indian maritime influence was so strong. Is any child in this country knows about it? I'm telling you, for example, right now, I'm sure every child in the country knows about Great Wall of China. But the second largest wall is in Ranakpur. How many children in this school-going children know about it? Most adults don't know about it. When I went to Lebanon, there is a Baalbek temple which is 4,300 years old. Every Lebanese child knows because in their school books they're reading. Indian sculptors, Indian yogis, Indian elephants came and built this temple 4,300 years ago, a massive, phenomenal temple on top of a mountain. And the foundation stones are 400 tons each and they transported it across a small stream and then up the mountain and built this. There are lotus flowers hanging from the ceiling, carved 4,000 years ago. You think it's BJP?
So why haven't we heard of it? Is it because there was ignorance about our civilization or we were embarrassed about it?
No, I think it is crafted that way. Somebody had some intentions, whatever their intentions are. I think British left us politically, but I think they wanted to keep a hand on everything that's happening here and they managed to do that, I believe.
Brown Sahibs in our heads. I know you don't like to get drawn into politics, Sadhguru, but something which has hit very close home is recently there was a man who was injured in a explosion that took place in Mangaluru. Now it turns out that this man Sharik on his WhatsApp status had a statue of Adi Yogi, and which is why I'm asking you this question, because that is something that you hold very dear. It is very close to home for you. How do you read the fact that here is a man who was inspired by ISIS literature? He apparently self-radicalized, he had a handler, he was caught with in an explosion, and he had a picture of Adi Yogi.
I think I should be glad that even he is carrying Adi Yogi. That's how I would like to see it, but that's not the reality, I know. One thing is, he's trying to mask his identity. That is a clever thing to do for the work that he is doing. But the important thing is that we need to understand any image of this kind, you know what happened in Afghanistan to the Buddha statues, because this has been the thing. We are trying to push it beneath the carpet all the time. This has happened across northern plains, that anything that was considered idolatry was destroyed because somebody firmly believed that. So now I think most people have settled, okay, you do your thing, I do my thing, it's okay, I think we should bring that. So there are still some radical elements going on like this. For them, the most terrible thing is that there is Adiyogi statue standing there, which hurts them in some way because they think we are worshipping. We are not worshipping, we are using it as an inspiration to go in a certain direction. But still, that is the belief. So this education needs to happen to all communities, that how you want to reach something beyond yourself. See, essentially, let's see it this way. Whatever your religion is, I'm somebody who's never read any scripture of any culture. I've stayed away from that. Whatever it may be, essentially I believe all religions were created to help a human being in some way to transcend their limitations and find higher qualities within themselves. Somebody will do it by prayer, somebody will do it by ritual, somebody will do it by all kinds of worship, somebody will do it by meditation, somebody will do it by knowledge. It doesn't matter how. Essentially in yoga we say there are only four ways. You can use your body and do it, we call this karma yoga. You can do your intelligence and do it, we call this jnana yoga. You can do it, you can use your emotion and do it, we call this bhakti yoga. You can use your life energies and do it, this is called as kriya yoga. So whatever religion you may come from, in some way it is a combination of these four things. In what proportion, it may vary. But that's all a human being can do. You can use your body, mind, emotion and energy, there's nothing else for you to use. You can invent whatever you want. So, this maturity needs to come. I think it's beginning to happen in the world, across the world, wherever I speak to thousands of people or millions, or now we can talk in billions, we're reaching billions of people every year. In spite of that, what I see is there is small fringes, margins of people who still firmly believe whatever is being told to them. So I think this needs to change. It is not anybody's business how an individual person is pursuing his own well-being. So about Adiyogi becoming so popular that even terror suspect carries Adiyogi, I think it makes me very happy.
Do you fear though that he could have been thinking of targeting Adiyogi?
That is always there, that is not new for us. It is on an average, I don't know, I have not counted, and on average in a year how many death threats come to me, they keep coming. But still I'm alive, so it's okay.
What is it a cause of worry that in the place that you live and in other pockets, in Karnataka, for example, this gentleman was in Mangalore, he travelled to Tamil Nadu, he travelled to Coimbatore, he travelled to Kerala, that there is growing radicalization in a sect or in a group of people?
No, you must understand, he's doing the same route that I did. I was in Mysore, constantly travelled to Mangalore, then Mysore to Coimbatore. This guy is travelling the same route. I know I'm joking about a serious subject, but it's very important that we learn to handle the most significant aspects of our lives. We learn to carry it lightly. Otherwise, we will want to kill each other. Let's not go there.
Sadhguru, thank you very much for speaking to us. Pleasure as always.
Namaskar, but please don't change your name, huh? It's nice.
Not at all. Already considered it when it was revealed that all lotuses are related to the BJP, but unfortunately, fortunately, this is my name. Thank you, Sadhguru.